Did you know that human touch has the power to lower blood pressure, reduce stress, and release oxytocin, the love hormone? Think about it. When was the last time you touched someone you deeply cared for, not out of routine, but with real intention? You see, touch is more than just skin-to-skin contact. It's medicine for the heart, fuel for the mind, and a bridge to deeper connection. Today I'm going to share 6 simple ways you can physically touch a man that activate his love hormones. These tools are practical, easy, and powerful, and they can transform the way you connect with your partner. Did you know that one of the simplest and most overlooked ways to calm a man's nervous system and activate his love hormones is through a gentle touch on the back? The back is more than just a part of the body that carries muscles and bones. It's actually one of the most powerful gateways into the nervous system. When you place your hand intentionally on his back, especially between the shoulder blades or across the upper spine, you're not just giving him comfort, you're sending signals to his brain that he is safe, supported, and cared for. That single action starts to release oxytocin, the bonding hormone that deepens trust and emotional connection. Think about the last time someone touched you on the back when you were feeling stressed or overwhelmed. Maybe it was a friend, a parent, or even a partner. In that moment, your body relaxed, your shoulders softened, and you felt an invisible weight being lifted. That's because the skin along the back contains thousands of nerve endings that directly communicate with the brain's emotional centers. A light touch there doesn't just stay on the surface, it travels deep inside, telling the nervous system to switch out of fight or flight and into a state of rest and calm. Now here's the beauty of it. This is something anyone can do. You don't need training, you don't need equipment, and you don't need a lot of time, just your hand, your presence, and your intention. The next time your partner comes home from a long, stressful day, pause for a moment. Instead of rushing into conversation or handing him a to-do list, simply place your palm gently on his upper back. Hold it there for about 10 to 15 seconds. Don't press too hard. Don't pat or tap. Just a steady, calm presence. While your hand rests there, take a deep breath yourself. What will happen is amazing. You'll notice his shoulders start to loosen, his breathing slow down, and his body move toward a state of relaxation. Why does this matter so much? Because men often carry tension silently. They may not always talk about their stress or show when they're overwhelmed, but their bodies reveal it. The back and shoulders are some of the most common storage areas for this hidden tension. By touching his back in a supportive way, you're telling him without words, I see you, I've got your back. Those simple, silent messages are incredibly healing. They speak louder than any words you could say in that moment. The simple touch also has another powerful benefit. It strengthens the emotional bond in the relationship. Oxytocin is called the love hormone for a reason. It promotes trust, empathy, and closeness. When oxytocin levels rise, walls begin to fall. A man who may have been holding in stress or closing himself off emotionally begins to feel more open, more connected, and more willing to share. All of this can start from just a hand on the back. Here's a small protocol you can use at home. When he sits down on the couch or at the dinner table, stand behind him and place both hands gently on the upper part of his back, right between the shoulder blades. Apply a little bit of pressure with your palms, but keep it soft and soothing. Hold this position for about 20 seconds. Breathe slowly while you do this because your calmness transfers to him. If you want to take it a step further, gently move your hands in small circular motions across the upper spine. This not only relaxes tight muscles, but also increases blood circulation to the area, which further enhances that feeling of calmness and security. You don't need to overthink this. Even one hand placed for just a few seconds can make a huge difference. The key is to be present. Don't rush, don't look at your phone, don't treat it as a routine, make it intentional. When your touch is intentional, his body will feel it and his brain will respond. So why wait? The next opportunity you have, try it. When he walks by, place your hand gently on his back. When you say goodbye, add a soft touch on his shoulders. It doesn't take extra time, it doesn't cost anything, and yet it has the power to completely shift his mood and deepen your connection. Remember, the body is wired to respond to touch, and when you learn how to use it wisely, you're not just helping him feel good, you're nurturing the love and trust in your relationship. One small touch, consistently practiced, can lead to massive changes in how loved, supported, and secure he feels. And when he feels that way, the relationship as a whole grows stronger, healthier, and more fulfilling for both of you. Hand-holding may look like the simplest gesture in the world, but it's one of the most powerful ways to create a deep emotional bond. When you take a man's hand with genuine intention, you're doing much more than filling the space between your palms. You're telling his nervous system, you are safe, you are not alone, and I am here with you. That simple act has the power to reduce stress, synchronize heart rhythms, and trigger the release of oxytocin, the hormone of love, trust, and connection. Think back to when you were a child. Remember when a parent or guardian held your hand to cross the street or calm you down when you were afraid? That tiny bit of contact created instant reassurance. As adults, we don't outgrow that need. We still crave the grounding energy of another person's hand. For a man whose daily life may be filled with stress, pressure, and unspoken responsibility, a handhold can feel like a reset button for the nervous system. Science tells us something fascinating. When two people hold hands, their brain waves, breathing patterns, and even their heartbeats can begin to sync. This is called physiological synchrony. Imagine how powerful that is. In just seconds of holding hands, the body begins to harmonize with the person next to you. That kind of harmony cannot be faked. It's created through genuine touch, and it's one of the most natural bonding tools you have. Now here's the important part. Hand-holding shouldn't be robotic. It's not about grabbing someone's hand out of habit. It's about adding presence and intention. If you're walking with your partner, don't just intertwine fingers, slow your steps, and notice how his hand feels in yours. Give a gentle squeeze once in a while. When you sit together, don't just let your hands rest. Use your thumb to trace small circles on the back of his palm. That subtle movement activates sensitive nerve endings that travel directly into the emotional centers of the brain. It tells him, I'm not just next to you, I'm connected with you. Men may not always say this out loud, but many of them long for reassurance through small, consistent gestures like this. A man who feels that steady, grounding touch is more likely to open up emotionally because his body and mind are registering safety. Safety always comes before vulnerability. And without vulnerability, there can be no deep love. Here's something you can practice. The next time you're together, instead of waiting for him to initiate, reach for his hand first. Do it when you're sitting at a red light in the car, when you're walking into the grocery store, or even when you're watching television. Notice the difference it makes. You might feel his body relax, or you might catch him smiling more. That's because this simple action is lowering his cortisol levels, the stress hormone, while increasing oxytocin. You are literally shifting his internal chemistry with the power of your touch. Now, some people may think, that's too simple. How could something like hand-holding make such a big difference? But it's the simple things done with consistency that build the strongest foundations. Just like daily exercise keeps the body strong and daily stretching keeps the muscles flexible, daily hand-holding keeps emotional connection alive. Think of it as maintenance for the relationship. It doesn't require a lot of time or energy, but it prevents emotional distance from creeping in. There's also a symbolic layer here. The hand represents guidance, support, and partnership. When you take someone's hand, you're saying, we are walking through this life together. You don't have to do this alone. For a man who often feels like he needs to carry the weight of the world, that message can be life-changing. So let this become a habit, not just when you're out in public, not just during romantic dates, but in everyday moments. Hand hold while you're cooking together. Hand hold while sitting quietly without words. Hand hold when you sense he's stressed but not ready to talk. Remember, your touch speaks a language that words cannot match. And here's the truth. Relationships aren't built on grand gestures. They're built on these tiny, repeated moments of presence. Hand-holding is one of the simplest tools you'll ever have, yet it carries one of the greatest impacts. When practiced consistently, it creates a bond that feels unshakable, a connection that grows stronger even in the middle of life's storms. So don't underestimate this small but powerful act. Take his hand, hold it with intention, and watch what happens. Over time, you'll see a man who feels calmer, more supported, and more deeply connected to you. And that, my friends, is the power of something as simple as holding hands. The face is one of the most sensitive areas of the human body. When you gently touch a man's face or jawline, you're not just giving physical contact, you're sending powerful messages to his brain and heart. That touch tells him he's seen, valued, and cared for on a deep level. For many men, this type of touch is rare, yet it carries profound emotional weight. It has the ability to lower stress, activate oxytocin, and strengthen the bond between you. Think about it. The face holds the expressions we show to the world. It's where tension builds when stress piles up. The jaw clenches, the forehead tightens, the lips press together. These are silent signs of pressure and emotional strain. By placing your hand gently on his cheek or running your fingers along his jawline, you're offering release, not just of muscle tension, but of emotional weight. You're telling him, it's okay to let go. You're safe with me. There's a reason this area is so powerful. The face is packed with nerve endings that are directly connected to the brain's emotional centers. When stimulated with gentle, loving touch, these nerves send signals that help calm the nervous system, lower cortisol levels, and encourage the release of oxytocin, the same hormone released when mothers hold their newborns. This is why face-to-face touch is often described as intimate, grounding, and deeply bonding. Here's something you can practice right away. The next time you're saying goodbye or sitting close together, place your hand softly on his cheek. Don't rush. Let your palm rest there for a few seconds. Make eye contact if it feels natural. You'll notice his body language shift. Shoulders may drop. His breathing may deepen. And you may even see a smile forming. That's his nervous system responding. That's his body saying, I feel loved. Another simple practice is to run your fingers gently along the jawline. The jaw is a notorious area for holding tension. Many people clench their jaw without even realizing it, especially during stress or sleep. By gently tracing the line of his jaw with your fingertips, you're encouraging those muscles to release. This small action not only feels good physically, but also carries a symbolic message. You're easing the burdens he's been carrying. You don't need to wait for a special moment to do this. Daily routines are the perfect opportunity. Maybe it's when you're saying goodnight. Maybe it's during a quiet conversation. Maybe it's just a quick pause while watching TV. The key is presence. When your touch is intentional, his body will respond to it. You don't need words. Your hand speaks volumes. This type of touch also invites reciprocity. When a man feels cared for in this way, he often becomes more open to showing affection back. He may lean into your hand, touch your face in return, or simply relax more fully in your presence. This is the cycle of love hormones at work. The more oxytocin you help him release, the more likely he is to express warmth and connection in return. Some may wonder, isn't touching the face too personal? What if it feels awkward? The answer lies in intention. If your heart is in the right place, if your touch is gentle and filled with care, it won't feel awkward. It will feel natural. And over time, it will become a familiar language between the two of you. Here's a small exercise you can try tonight. As you're saying goodnight, place your hand gently on his cheek. Hold it there for 5 to 10 seconds while looking into his eyes. Breathe slowly and let your body relax. This doesn't have to be dramatic. It's about sending a silent but powerful message of love and safety. Over time, this small ritual can become one of the most grounding and reassuring moments in your relationship. Remember, the little things are the big things. You don't need complicated routines or long conversations to build emotional intimacy. Sometimes, all it takes is the soft pressure of a palm against the cheek or the gentle tracing of a jawline to remind someone they are loved and appreciated. These moments accumulate. They build trust. They strengthen connection. So don't underestimate this simple act. Begin to use it daily. Add it into your natural rhythm with him. Watch how his body softens, how his stress begins to melt, and how his openness grows. The face is the window of expression. And when you touch it with love, you're not just soothing muscles. You're speaking directly to the heart. One gentle touch at the right time can make him feel more secure, more valued, and more connected to you than 1,000 words ever could. That is the power of face and jaw touch. The forearms may seem like a simple part of the body, but they hold tremendous power when it comes to connection, relaxation, and bonding. This area is filled with sensory nerves that connect directly to the brain's emotional centers. When you gently touch or hold a man's forearm, you're not only making physical contact, you're helping his nervous system calm down and encouraging the release of oxytocin, the love and trust hormone. It's a way of saying, without a single word, I'm with you, and you don't have to carry this alone. So many men walk through life holding in stress, pressure, and responsibility. You can often see it in the way they carry themselves. Their arms may feel stiff, their movements tight, and their muscles tense. The forearms in particular can store hidden tension from gripping, lifting, or simply clenching throughout the day. This is why touch in this area can be so powerful. It not only relieves that physical tightness, but also signals to the body that it's okay to relax. A simple way to notice this is with a quick self-test. The next time you're with your partner, gently place your hand around his forearm, just below the elbow. Apply light pressure, almost like you're giving him a soft embrace through your hand. Hold it there for a few seconds. You'll often feel his muscles, Sometimes they'll be tight, almost rigid. That's his body holding on to stress. Stay there for a moment and don't let go right away. As your hand continues to hold steady, you'll start to feel the muscle loosen, the tension soften. That's his nervous system responding to your touch, releasing built-up stress and entering a calmer state. This practice is more than just physical, it's emotional. When you reach for his forearm in a moment of tension or silence, you're bridging the gap between his mind and his heart. You're grounding him. It's a way of saying, I notice you, I'm here. For many men, that kind of physical reassurance speaks louder than a long conversation ever could. Think about everyday opportunities to use this simple yet powerful tool. Maybe you're sitting at dinner and you reach across the table, resting your hand gently on his forearm as you talk. Maybe you're walking side by side and instead of only holding hands, you place your hand briefly on his arm. These moments don't need to be long or dramatic. They just need to be intentional. Over time, they add up to a consistent message of love and support. One of the reasons forearm touch works so effectively is because it taps into both physical and psychological comfort. The skin in this area is sensitive, but not overwhelming. It feels grounding, safe, and secure. It's different from touching the hand or the face. It's a middle ground, a place that can be both tender and strong. This balance makes it one of the best areas to activate trust and connection. You can also take this one step further with a simple corrective action. If you notice his forearm feels especially tight, gently massage along the top and underside with your thumb and fingers. Use slow circular motions for about 20 to 30 seconds. You don't have to press hard, just enough to increase blood flow and signal the muscles to let go. As the muscles relax, the nervous system follows, and with it comes a wave of calmness and connection. He may not even realize how much tension he was carrying until it starts to release. There's something else to remember. When you touch a man's forearm with care, you're also helping him feel more grounded in his own body. Stress often pulls us into our minds. We overthink, worry, or plan endlessly, but grounding touch brings awareness back to the present moment. It's like an anchor that pulls him out of his head and into the now, where he can breathe, relax, and connect with you. This isn't about fixing him or forcing him to relax. It's about creating a safe space where his body feels free to let go. And when his body lets go, his emotions follow. This is where deeper conversations can happen, where closeness grows and where bonds strengthen. The beauty of this practice is that it doesn't take time out of your day. You could do it in passing, during a hug, at the dinner table, or even while sitting together quietly. The consistency of small, intentional touches is what creates lasting impact. So the next time you're with him, pay attention to his forearms. Notice if they feel tight. Notice if he's gripping the armrest or clenching his fists. Then gently place your hand there, hold it for a few seconds. Let your calmness transfer into him. What you'll see is powerful. You'll watch stress dissolve, his body soften, and his heart open. That's the gift of touch in this simple yet profound part of the body. The gentle forearm connection is more than skin to skin. It's heart to heart. The shoulders and neck are two of the most common areas where stress, tension, and emotional weight build up in the body. You can almost see it in people as they walk through their day. Shoulders rounded forward, neck stiff, head slightly down. For many men, this tightness becomes their normal state, yet they don't even realize how much stress they're carrying until someone steps in to help release it. That's why shoulder and neck massage can be one of the most powerful ways to activate love hormones and create an immediate sense of comfort, safety, and connection. When you place your hands on a man's shoulders, you're not just touching muscle, you're communicating care. The nervous system instantly responds to that touch. Gentle pressure in this area encourages the body to move out of a stress response and into relaxation. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, begins to rise, and cortisol, the stress hormone, begins to fall. What you're really doing in those moments is creating balance, not only in his body, but also in his emotions. Think about it for a moment. The shoulders and neck are like storage bins for unspoken stress. When work piles up, when responsibilities weigh heavy, when worries linger, the body naturally tightens here. The muscles contract as if to carry the invisible load. But here's the problem. When those muscles stay tight for too long, circulation decreases, posture suffers, and the mind stays stuck in a loop of tension. That's why a simple massage in these areas can feel like such deep relief. It's like telling his body, you don't have to carry this all alone. You can let go now. You don't need to be a professional therapist to do this. All it takes is intention and a few simple techniques. Here's one to try. Have him sit comfortably in a chair, stand behind him, and place your hands on the tops of his shoulders. Use your thumbs to apply light circular pressure into the muscles while your fingers rest gently along his collarbone. Work slowly, breathing deeply as you go. Spend about 30 seconds on each side, then return to the middle and gently squeeze both shoulders at the same time. You'll often feel the muscles begin to soften under your hands, almost as if the stress is melting away. Another simple method is to focus on the base of the neck. This area, where the neck meets the shoulders, is one of the tightest zones in the body. Gently place your thumbs on either side of the spine and use small circular motions. Don't press too hard. This isn't about force, it's about comfort. Just enough pressure to stimulate blood flow and signal the muscles to release. Even a minute or two of this can create an immediate shift in how he feels. You can also incorporate this into everyday life without setting aside special time. Maybe he's sitting at his desk and you walk up and place your hands on his shoulders for a short massage. Maybe you're watching TV and you gently work the muscles around his neck while sitting behind him. These little moments add up and they speak volumes. They tell him, I notice your stress. I care enough to help lighten it. That message alone activates emotional closeness even before the oxytocin begins to flow. Another layer to this is the power of breathing. As you massage, encourage him to take slow, deep breaths. When the body breathes deeply, muscles relax more easily, circulation improves, and the nervous system drops into a calmer state. You might even match your breathing with his. This kind of synchronization deepens the sense of connection and trust. Don't underestimate how powerful this can be for the relationship as a whole. Many men are not used to receiving nurturing touch in this way. They're used to pushing through tension, ignoring pain, and carrying stress alone. When you take the time to massage his shoulders and neck, you're not just helping his body, you're reminding him that he doesn't need to be invincible all the time. He can lean into your care. That reminder builds intimacy and strengthens the bond. Here's something simple you can do tonight while sitting together. Place both hands on his shoulders. Apply gentle pressure downward, almost like you're grounding him. Hold for 5 seconds, release, and repeat. This isn't complicated, but the message it sends is powerful. Relax, let go, I've got you. Over time, this habit can become a ritual, one that both of you look forward to. The truth is, small daily actions like this create lasting results. A few minutes of shoulder and neck massage can transform his mood, his stress levels, and even the way he interacts with you. The body remembers this kind of care, and it responds by opening up emotionally and physically. So the next time you see his shoulders tight, or notice his neck stiff, don't just let it pass. Step in with your hands, your presence, and your care. You'll be amazed at how quickly the body responds and how powerfully the heart follows. A hug may seem like the simplest gesture of affection, but it carries one of the most powerful impacts on the human body and mind. When you wrap your arms around someone and hold them close, you're doing far more than just offering comfort. You're activating a chemical reaction in the brain that can change mood, lower stress, and deepen emotional bonds. The key, though, is not just in giving a quick pat on the back, it's in holding that hug long enough for the body to release oxytocin, the love hormone that builds trust and connection. Research shows that hugs lasting 20 seconds or longer have remarkable effects. They lower blood pressure, regulate breathing, and reduce cortisol, the stress hormone. They trigger serotonin and dopamine, chemicals linked to happiness and emotional stability. In other words, a long hug isn't just a nice gesture, it's medicine for the nervous system. And for men who often carry stress silently, this kind of grounding, consistent touch can be life-changing. Think about how most people hug in daily life. It's often quick, maybe a few seconds at most, followed by a pat or a rush to move on. While these brief hugs are still meaningful, they don't give the body enough time to truly relax and release its tension. A long hug, on the other hand, allows the nervous system to shift gears. The first few seconds may just feel like contact, but as the seconds pass, you'll feel the body begin to melt. Shoulders drop, breathing deepens, and an invisible wall starts to fall away. That's when the magic happens. Here's something you can do with your partner. Make it a daily ritual to share at least one long hug. It doesn't need to be planned or dramatic. Maybe it's when he comes home from work, before bed, or even first thing in the morning. Wrap your arms around him and hold. Don't rush. Don't talk. Just breathe together. Aim for at least 20 seconds. At first it may feel longer than usual, but with time it will become natural, and both of you will begin to look forward to that moment of pause and connection. When you hug, pay attention to your breathing. Sync your breaths with his. This creates a rhythm that signals safety and trust to both nervous systems. Imagine your stress leaving your body with every exhale, and imagine your care flowing into him with every inhale. This kind of intentional hugging doesn't just release oxytocin, it creates a deep sense of grounding that words often cannot achieve. Men in particular benefit from this practice because society often teaches them to be strong and suppress emotion. Many carry their struggles quietly, rarely letting anyone see how heavy the weight feels. A long hug bypasses the need for words. It tells him, you don't need to explain, you don't need to hold it in. You're safe here. That message is incredibly healing. Hugs also work as preventative medicine for the relationship. Just like daily stretching keeps muscles flexible, daily hugs keep emotional bonds strong. They prevent emotional distance from growing by creating moments of closeness that remind both partners of their connection. Even during disagreements or stressful times, maintaining this habit can soften tension and keep love at the center. Another benefit of long hugs is that they build emotional resilience. When a man experiences consistent, nurturing touch, his body learns to regulate stress more efficiently. His nervous system becomes more adaptable and his emotional stability improves. This doesn't just help the relationship, it supports his overall health. Lower stress levels mean better sleep, stronger immunity, and reduced risk of chronic conditions. A hug may seem small, but its effects ripple throughout the entire body. If you want to make this practice even more powerful, combine the hug with gentle affirmations. While holding him close, whisper something supportive. I've got you, you're safe, or simply, I love you. The combination of physical touch and spoken reassurance can amplify the release of oxytocin and create a lasting emotional memory. Every time he recalls that moment, his body will remember the calm, the warmth, and the safety you provided. It's also important to remember that hugging benefits both partners. When you hold someone close, you're not only giving, you're receiving. Your own body experiences the same release of love hormones, the same drop in stress, and the same sense of grounding. It's a two-way exchange of healing energy, one that strengthens not just the relationship, but also your individual well-being. So start today. Don't wait for a special occasion or the perfect moment. The next time you see him, pause and give a long, intentional hug. Let it last. Feel the muscles relax. Feel the breathing slow and notice the quiet transformation that takes place in just those 20 seconds. Over time, these moments will become some of the most cherished parts of your relationship. A long hug is more than just an embrace. It's a reset button, a reminder of love, and a preventative tool for both stress and disconnection. It's a practice that costs nothing, takes almost no time, but delivers enormous benefits. And when done consistently, it will not only keep his love hormones activated, but will also build a bond that feels unshakable.